Hello folks, how are you today? This is a video for you honors level kids working on the IXLs. So it looks like I'm looking at the schedule right here. You have 2 IXLs to do this week, as you will for the following weeks. We have already completed participles and participle phrases. And now we're going to talk about gerunds and gerund phrases. And the next video will be about infinitives. Actually, I think these are easier. We'll see. So we're going to get IXL all loaded up here. And first one, gerunds GG7. Let's get that ready to roll, and we'll give you a little walkthrough. If you're finding that this is a piece of cake, you can stop this video and just zoom right ahead. I'm also going to post this picture. I also do have probably an old video on gerunds as well, which I think I already posted to your Google Classroom. But basically, in a nutshell, a gerund is a verb form. In other words, it's a kind of verb that acts as a noun. So it's a verb that acts like a noun. What? All right. We'll check it out. A gerund is often the subject of a sentence, so it's often acting like a subject. Object of a verb, like a direct object or indirect object, or an object of a prepositional phrase, so just the noun at the end of a prepositional phrase. Gerund phrase consists of a gerund and all of its modifiers. So, more simply put, a gerund is an ing verb, like swimming, cooking, staying, sleeping, sneezing, laughing. All right, those are all actions, but they end in ing. So you see what I mean by verb form that ends in ing? And they act like a thing. Noun. You know how a noun is a person, place, or thing? This is the thing. So like swimming is a thing. Cooking is a thing. Staying up all night is a thing. In the case of staying up all night, that's the gerund phrase. It's the ing gerund plus all the words that go along with it. So in these 3 examples you see up here, swimming is one of my favorite ways to get exercise. That gerund is the subject of the sentence. In that second example, Peter enjoys cooking, cooking for his family and friends. The cooking for his family and friends, that gerund phrase is acting like a direct object. If you don't remember what direct objects are, don't forget there's an IXL for that. That was first quarter. And here we have where the gerund phrase is acting like an object of a prepositional phrase. After, which is a preposition, staying up all night, which is your gerund phrase, that makes the whole prepositional phrase. So it's like a gerund phrase within a prepositional phrase. It's getting complicated here. If you don't remember what a prepositional phrase is, again, check back on those IXLs. So there we go. So basically, we're going to be looking for ing verbs and see that they act like nouns. Okay, so honestly, I think this should be rather quick and easy. Let's take a look. Select the gerund or gerund phrase. Amending. Okay. To amend is a verb. Amending is that ing verb right there, and we have the words that go along with it. Looks like, okay. So let's look for INGs. Hey. Now it's asking us what it's doing here. Follow-up question. In this case, we know that it is the subject of the sentence. Okay, so they're going to throw that curveball at you. Didn't think they would make it super simple. Okay. Defrosting, ing verb. So there we have it, before defrosting the windshield. Okay, so again, to know the follow-up question of this, you're going to need to know that before is a preposition. This is going to be a prepositional phrase here. So again, you might want to brush up on your prepositional phrases before jumping to this. Okay, and you might also want to brush up on direct objects, because that is going to become handy as well. Okay, so object of a preposition means it's the last thing in a prepositional phrase. Okay. Carpooling, ing verb, there it is. What's it going to be acting like? Subject. So those follow-up questions are going to be the ones that get you. So the identifying the gerund, piece of cake, figuring out what it's acting like, either subject, a direct object, or the last part of a prepositional phrase, object of a preposition. That's going to be the tougher part. After the budget crisis, stopped funding. Okay. So here we see it pops up at the end of the sentence. And it comes right after a verb. That means it's going to be an object of the verb, a direct object, more precisely. Okay. Boom. Before is a preposition. It's going to be a prepositional phrase here. Okay. Mr. Richmond loves restoring. What does he love? He loves restoring. Loves is our verb. That means this is going to be the object of our verb, specifically the direct object. Layering your clothing. Boom. Comes right at the beginning of the sentence. If it comes at the beginning of the sentence, it's going to be the subject or object of a prepositional phrase. But if it's the very first thing in a sentence, subject. Okay. Finishes kneading bread, if I'm to the ball, brush it with butter and sprinkle. Finishes kneading. There it is. Okay. The baker, subject, finishes, verb, finishes what? This gerund phrase. You gonna help me out, honey?
Get down.
We're teaching my students grammar.
Oh.
It's tricky grammar too. This is like advanced stuff. It's only for the smart kids. Yeah. All right. Boom. So this is going to be our direct object of the verb. Okay. Because pitching is such a physically demanding activity, something is something. Okay. This is going to be a subject here. It looks like we have two clauses within a sentence. And this is going to be the subject for this clause. A dependent clause, actually. This next one, pitchers in major leagues generally need 4 to 5 days rest. Okay, so this is going to be the subject of the clause, the dependent clause. Okay, so again, if you don't remember dependent and independent clauses, it might be worth checking those out as well. So this is an activity that really kind of is kind of an end of the year activity, which builds upon the grammar knowledge that you've already gained throughout the year. So it might be helpful to review if you're struggling with this. Okay. Okay.
Dad, you're getting timed.
Oh, I am, aren't I?
And that's the...
There's the time, and there's my score. I'm going to try to get to a 100.
Because you might run out of time soon.
Oh, I don't think I'll run out of time. I'm a pro at this.
Yeah. So be quick, Dada.
Okay. I'll be quick. I'm sure my students want me to be quick too. Okay.
It's time.
Banning. Okay, this is another situation. So we're getting into advanced sentences here, not just simple one clause sentences here. These are multiple clause sentences here. Again, it starts with a dependent clause, and now this is going to be an independent clause. Banning plastic bags, there's our gerund phrase, is becoming more common. Okay, so this is acting like the subject of that second clause. So that's probably the hardest question right there, just because there's multiple clauses, a dependent clause and independent clause. And that gerund phrase is acting like the subject of that second one. So how did I know that? I see that is verb or is becoming verb. And we know that this came before the verb. So it's always subject, verb, and then something else. Okay?
Look what we got, Daddy. We just need one more thing to go.
Oh, yeah.
And you get 100.
Okay. This is something else. It does end in ing, but it's not a verb form.
Crabby.
Okay, I'm trying. Sculpting a figure out of clay. Okay. I see a 4. Ooh. This is gonna be tricky. We need our brains for this one here. Identifying the gerund phrase is easy, but now what is this? Okay. I enjoyed just about every one of our projects except for. Is except for a preposition?
What?
I think it is. Okay, so this is going to be an object of preposition. How could I figure that out? I could easily Google prepositions, see if except for is there. Yeah, sweetheart.
It's time to forget.
Okay. Good. All right. Alexander Hume Ford, an enterprising newspaper player, fell in love with surfing. Boom. And I know with is a preposition because I'm an old pro at that. So it's an object of a preposition. Many people believe that. That's he hates flying. Okay. Hates is a verb. So if flying comes after it, that gerund comes after it, it's going to be the object of the verb, direct object. All right, sweetie pie. 2 more questions.
And then we get 100.
Yay!
I bet 100 is going to be real.
Oh, man, they're finishing off with an easy one. Boom. And it's first thing, it's the subject. Put her there. Boom. All right, folks. So there you go. This can be tricky. Okay, you really need to know what you all know what subjects are, so that's not hard. But knowing what clauses are, independent clause and dependent clauses are going to be helpful. Also knowing what an object of a verb is, in other words, what a direct object is going to be helpful. And knowing what a prepositional phrase is also will be helpful. So those are kind of the prerequisite skills you need to have to do well on this. Good luck.
And it shows the right button for smart.